Hey there, Pisces. It's Angela with Grounded Dreamers. How you doing? We're going to do your soul guidance reading for the month of November. Remember, these are not locked into the calendar as much. Energy doesn't really do time, but we are sort of allowing for space during the month of November to focus on some of these topics that we come up with in the soul guidance readings. I wanted to share with you also that I added a playlist to my channel. It's called Weekly Intention Readings, Pause at the Well. It's a playlist on my channel. You'll find it. And I've tagged in videos that I do every week with Maria Mellano of Integral Bloom. And these are, we meet on Mondays and set intentions for the week. It's a small group of people we meet. You're welcome to join if you'd like. I'll put the links and stuff in the video, in the little notes here. But yeah, I added that playlist. And then also Maria and I will be co-hosting a 7-week visioning course called Bloom Your Vision. And this will allow for the participants to make an assessment of the year that's just come through, that we've just moved through, and kind of nail down some things that we want to manifest for next year. And then we culminate the course with a meeting in January that is sort of, that fresh start kind of a feeling to create vision boards together. The course is pretty much self-paced. We have live weekly meetings that you can attend, but we will also record them and you can receive them as well. So check it out. The link's in the video, in my little video notes, and hopefully we could see you there. Join my newsletter. There's stuff going on at Grounded Dreamers that is going to start dropping in the next coming few months. And that's all the news. Okay, let's get on to your reading, Pisces. So we normally pull an oracle card and give us a theme to focus on, and then we drill down with the Zen Tarot cards to give us sort of a path to accommodate that theme. And the oracle cards I'm using at this time, it's coming from this deck called Messages from the Mermaids, kind of golden, so it's hard to see that, but it's a really beautiful deck by Karen Kay. And the card I pulled for you, love this so much, Pisces, abundance. So your focus this month will be on, now there's a couple sides to this. Some of us, we just want to create abundance. Like, we feel the lack in our lives, whether this be in material things or income flow or connections, our relationships, the richness of our relationships, our surroundings, whatever the life that we've crafted. Sometimes we feel a little frustrated and we're not really moving at a pace we'd like to, and we want to reach for more abundance, right? Well, the key there is to really focus in on what you do have and show gratitude for that. So this could come in the way of journaling daily. I'm grateful. We've heard many times over about keeping gratitude journals. They work because when you're focusing on the things that are going well and the things that are so good, it leaves less room to focus on the lack and the things that you feel you're being shorted on or that you don't have coming in. So for sure, the key to shifting your relationship with abundance is to have gratitude for what you have, for what is. From there, as you ask for more, as you start to recognize those things that you want or need more of, then you use terms like this or something better, right? You focus on what is and what is going well, and then it's this or something better. That way you're always propelling it forward instead of going back into that old seat of, I never had enough, and the old patterning that we have. So it's always propelling you forward into that hopefulness of what's to come, right? Now, another way this card can be read, this abundance card, is that perhaps you're being called to create, to assist others with your gifts or with your own abundance, to sort of spread it and share it, or to assist people with your knowledge of, your spiritual knowledge of how this works, how abundance works, and really share, which creates more abundance as you're, giving yourself, right? So think of it in two terms, either you're assisting someone to help create abundance and to help create their own ability to capture abundance in their lives or to manifest it, or there are areas in your life where you would rather see changes occur sooner than later, and then that would be your focus as well. So that's kind of the two little camps, but for the most part, we're going to talk about abundance, how to practice it, and how to practice the gratitude that is the precursor to realizing abundance. Okay. But I love that this is coming now, because this is, we're moving into the winter holidays, a time of gratitude, a time of connection, a time of really focusing on what's important to us. And for most of us, and really, if we listen deep down to that little voice that's at the core of all of us, it's that love and connection. And, that's the true meaning of why we're here. The external stuff, also important, but really what we want is that sense of connectedness. And this is a path to get there. So let's talk about abundance using the Zen cards here. Okay. So we know we have this spread that I created. It's called the tree. We have two sets of branches and a trunk. Our starting point is the lower set of branches, and then we utilize the energy of the trunk to perpetuate the growth and move us to another level of understanding. So let's see where we're starting here. Okay, Pisces. Yeah, past lives. That's your first card. So I love how this connects, because remember how I said we don't want to focus on the lack, or how I've never gotten a break and I never get it I never get it right, or I can never get ahead, or that kind of a sort of a digging a hole deeper kind of a vibration, which is completely, totally human, by the way. So, I think we all do that at times, but this is a calling for you to really tune in to those patterns in your past that have brought you to a place at times in your life where you are feeling the lack and kind of saying, oh, I can never get that step up, or why can't I get, why can't I have more, or whatever. A lot of that has to do with our rooted perceptions and the stories that we tell ourselves, right? So that's a beautiful starting point, because this is maybe, the way we've done it before. And now we're going to learn a way to open things up and find a path toward the abundance that really, if you think about it, is already there. All the abundance that this earth and this world provides, and the universe and the people around you, is already alive. And it's our work to tap into that stream and to find those areas where life is rich, right? Not just monetarily, but rich with love and connection and honesty and beauty, right? There's a lot there to be tapped into. And so if we think about it, maybe some of our past patterns have blinded us from that, have kind of been a little more in our head and thinking, I never can get ahead. And that's what you tell yourself, and that's what you continue to believe. So we're going to try to find a way to kind of crack that code and soften that up a little bit so that we can open up a path toward our true abundance and our true abundant nature, which is always present. Okay, so internally, in relation and in response to this card, this past lives card, we got letting go. So yeah, we just said that. We're going to find a way to leave that sort of in our dust, the old way of seeing things, and really find a way to release some of those heavier energies that keep us rooted in the lack, right? This card is it's a water card. It says in the Zen deck, this would be the cups. In traditional tarot, it's emotions, it's your feelings. And sometimes the feelings that are tied with the idea that I'm not getting mine, or I can't find a good love connection, or I can't ever get a good savings account going, or I can't ever grow a garden well, or whatever that old story is that you're telling yourself. We're being called to, sort of within you, at least for now, call attention to it. And when it comes up, when those negative self-talk phrases come up, to just let them pass without latching onto it and perpetuating it and keeping it growing in you, right? We're going to find a way to let it fall away. And this letting go is not throwing it away, and it's not resisting it and closing the door on it. This is allowing it to leave your experience. This is that water droplet that just simply falls from the leaf. And that's a practice, right? That's not just something that everybody can automatically, like none of us, I don't think, can just say, oh, I think I'm just going to stop feeling that now, right? But it is a practice. It's the first step is to call attention to the feeling as it arises, that feeling of lack that we talked about, and then allow it to be there, and realize, is this feeling, is this attitude, is this perception serving my highest good at this time? And usually the answer is no, if it's a denser, heavier vibe. And our next step is to just allow ourselves, acknowledge that you do feel that way, and then also allow space for it to possibly move away as we continue our growth. And then we're going to look at the next card, and that one's going to be externally. So as we're letting go of these heavier feelings, or these feelings of lack, we're asked to focus on the present. I mean, this is experiencing. This is truly what is right here and real in my life now. And let me find gratitude for that. Let me really, really connect with all the beauty that's around me. And as this figure here is walking through the forest and encounters a tree, she doesn't just say, oh, there's a tree by. She gets into the tree, right? She's feeling it. The tree is actually kind of hugging her with its branches, and she's experiencing the tree. This is your calling. This is your moving from the past, letting go of those old feelings that hold you sort of hostage to your past and your past perceptions, and just clearing a space to be fully present in this moment now. That's where you find the gratitude. That's where you find the abundance that's already present. And then that's how you start to carve your path toward more. This whole first starting row here, I mean, it's easy to say, and we get the concept. It's like, oh, sure, stop thinking negatively, let those feelings pass when they come, and be present in this very moment, and then recognize what's right and what's good now. Great advice, right? But it's not automatic, and it's not always easy for us, especially with patterning that we've put into place and the way we've conditioned ourselves as human beings to try to think things through and solve those problems, right? And if we come upon a problem or resistance or something negative, it's like we kind of want to dwell on it a little bit and flesh it out. That's part of what many of us just automatically do. So this new patterning that we want to create, like I said, it won't come automatically, but if we allow ourselves that space and forgive ourselves for not, grasping it right away and oh, this is my new pattern now, just allow for it to transform in its own time. What this reading is asking is that you just call an awareness when it comes up, right? When these limiting and lack-filled thoughts come up, recognize it and say, oh, there you are again, right? And then, does this serve my highest good? The answer is usually no. Let me see what's in this very moment. I can look out the window and see trees blowing in the wind. I happen to be able to see the ocean from where I am, but you could see trees and flowers and plant life and animals and kids and life happening outside of you. You could step out your door and become engaged with it. And that's the experiencing card. That's where your present moment awareness comes in. And that's the start of your path toward your true abundance. Okay, let's move forward. This card here is the trunk of the tree, and this is the key to moving forward because, right, this is where everything's, as we know, when we're growing a tree, it has to take root before the rest of it will grow up, right? So this is the key to moving forward, and we get totality. So this is a deepening of that experiencing card. This is a more intensive, this is really getting in the zone. So once you have the practice down of recognizing when these patterned thoughts come up, and then allowing space for them to fall away and just shifting your focus to what's present now and finding gratitude in that. You could even keep a journal in that as each time this happens, keep a journal as to what you're feeling and in your present moment, what do you see, feel, touch, and observe that brings about feelings of gratitude. And so once you get that little patterning down and you've got that practiced, you're ready to move to the next step, which is really getting in the zone. And this is where you've taught yourself sort of an undying focus on that forward, positive, hopeful way. And, it's, trust me, I know, I'm someone who, I used to be a worrier, really worried all the time when I was a kid more. I worried a lot and I was really heady and I just, how's this going to turn out? And why aren't they wanting to talk to me? And, worry. And as I've aged, I guess, and created, more life experience and kind of just really mellowed out, I started to shift that. And now there's always a positive spin for me. I've gotten sort of criticized for it sometimes by people that like to focus on the problems. I'm one that will flip it and immediately look for the solution. And I want to go forward and I acknowledge the problem and then how do we get through? It's, I call myself the bright sider because I do look at the bright side. And even when I encounter a problem, I immediately now know that this will transform into a gift for me somehow, whether it's immediate or something that works itself out over time. But I already trust that. And that's just come with reconditioning my worrisome brain. It's taken time. But the intention is always to know that there's better. Know, better and better, this or something better. And that's sort of the mantra to be used. And like I said, it's not how I always operated. And of course, at times I don't go directly into the positive and I do get extra worried about things, but overall in general, I can move through to this sort of undying focus on the good, on the gratitude, on what's going well so that I can create my path forward. And for you, Pisces, your path forward lands here on this spot. And that is in the new vision. Look at that. I love this. Now you've practiced this a few times, right? Negative thought, try to let it go, focus on the present, get in the zone and be more, the scales tipped more toward focusing on what's good than not. Doesn't mean every single thought is rosy, but being able to flip that and focus more toward more things good than not. That creates your space and your sort of palette, blank canvas, if you would, to create your future and to manifest that abundance that you're looking for. Now you're wide open, right? Now you are freed of these cumbersome thoughts for the most part, right? And you can start to create. And what is next for me? What is it that I can move toward? What intention should I set now in order to fulfill this dream I have, to manifest the desires that I carry? Internally, that new vision card is supported by aloneness. Look at that. You are alone in this world, and yet you are never alone, right? Loneliness isn't what we mean. This doesn't mean the absence of another. This means the presence of yourself. And there's some power in that. If you really realize, you know, this new vision, this new abundance that I'm going to manifest, it's up to me. I got this. And within you, you know you can, and you start to realize how, right? And that's just, remember, with that practice of, you know, those thoughts that come through that are a little negative and draining and lower vibrational are completely normal and completely human. You know, we know this, but we can also transform them. And that's the power. And that's that power of your inner being, knowing that it can be transformed. Then your final card and sort of the overview to this spread is possibilities. Oh my gosh, I'm laughing because I love, this is like the card I saw when I saw abundance and thought, oh, you know, it's wide open. There's so much that's possible. And so you get to begin to see all the possible ways. You get to be that eagle that's flying above the land, that doesn't have to just focus like the animals on the ground. They're focusing only on what's in front of them. That's their whole entire world. The eagle's world is expansive, and it gets to see all the possibilities. I could go up the river or down the valley, and I could, you know, move around in circles over this mountain if I want. And that is the vibration that we want you to have, this open, you know, a sense of freedom in your life to move in whatever direction you wish to create your own abundance. I love it. And remember, it does help. I mentioned earlier that you could also be a guide for another. Maybe you get an abundance buddy and start to focus on language and mantras and phrases or reminders to each other to focus on the good, to make sure the gratitude is in place as you move forward toward those things that you want to manifest. So that, you know, that could be, you could focus on the possibilities together and really create. Or like I said, remember how I said, you know, the aloneness card, you will do this on your own. It's just nice sometimes to have someone to bounce it off of, or you could act as a guide for another, as far as them trying to capture and find ways to create their own abundance. Okay, so I am pulling an extra card for you. This is kind of a bonus from Chris Ann's deck called Sacred Creators. And the card I got for you, Pisces, and it really does kind of relate to this reading as we just came through it. It says, change maker, make waves. So this is a shift. This is a shift for you. And the waves that you're creating are a new way of relating to abundance, or as maybe in the past you've perceived lack of abundance, right? It's a new way. It's kind of this new vision card. All you know, it kind of accompanies that. It gives you new opportunity to make those changes that you're looking for without a lot of struggle, really. If you allow for sort of that eagle vibration, that bigger, wider scope of seeing a situation, there's more room and space to play in that way. If you're focusing only on this one thing that isn't happening and I can't turn it around, you're constricted, right? The energy is tied up. But widening it up and just knowing, hey, in this very moment, right, there's abundance all around me. That's what greases the wheels to get you to move forward into your further abundance. Okay. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for being here. It's good to see you, and happy November. And check out the links that I put down below. Feel free to join us at the Pause at the Well on Mondays if you can, or at least get on Maria's email list so you can receive the videos, and you can also view them on my channel in the new playlist. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Take care.